Hello viewers and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to provide a solution to this radical equation, and specifically I'm going to solve for x in this particular equation using two different approaches. But before then, if you are watching my video for the first time and you know that you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly pause this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more exciting content like this and many more. Thank you so much. So let's see the first approach, how we are going to solve for x in this particular equation. So solution, follow me, let's solve this equation together. I have an equation that says, so I have x plus 1 in square root of x plus 1. I also have x plus 1. So I want to turn this x plus 1 to be in square root like this so that I ease the solution. What I'm saying here, I will have because this is the same thing as multiplied x plus 1 by 1, which is definitely not going to change anything to x plus 1. Or if you like, I raise x plus 1 to power 1, which I believe will not affect the result, whether positive or negative. So that is that. When we look at it, we understand that I have x plus 1 in common in two different places. So I will now let y to be equals to the square root of x plus 1, so that anywhere I see x plus 1 in this equation, I will put y. This is the same thing as 2. So that is that. So now I have something in common, which is y. So I can now factor y out. So I can factor y out, open the bracket. I can put 2 plus y, because y times y is y squared. This is equals to 0. So when I have a multiplying b all equals 0, that means it's either a equals 0 or b is equals to 0. So that means it's either y is equals to 0 or 2 plus y is equals to 0. That means I need to transpose or send these two across the bridge, because this equality sign serves as bridge. So I can send it across the bridge to come to the right side, so that to the left side I have only y to be equals to minus 2. So that means y is now equals to 0 or minus 2. But remember, we were asked to find the values or value of x and not y. I introduce y in order to ease the solution. So now at a particular point in time, that means at this point, I let y to be equals to the square root of x plus 1. And if that is the case, then we said if y is equals to 0, that means 0 going by this will now be equals to the square root of x plus 1. That means 0 squared is 0. That by squaring both sides, that means I'll have 0 is now equals to x plus 1. So I have to send this positive 1 to the right side, or if I like, this is something as x plus 1 is equals to 0, because if a is equals to b, that means b can also be equals a and vice versa. So if I have x plus y equals 0, that means x is now equals to minus 1. So that is when y is equals to 0. And remember, we have two values of y to be 0 and minus 2. So now if y is equals to minus 2 at a particular point in time, I let y to be equals to the square root of x plus 1. So instead of y, I will now put minus 2 is equals to the square root of x plus 1. So I need to square both sides in order to clear this. So I need to square this. I need to square this. So this square will go with this square. So I have 4 is equals to x plus 1. So I have 4 minus 1. But that means by sending this one across this bridge, because I always call equality sign to be bridge. Whatever crosses the bridge, the sign will change. So this is equals to x, and 4 minus 1 is, of course, is 3, which is equals to x. That means x is now equals to 3. So my people is either let me finish it up here. That means the respective values of x is now equals minus 1, or x is now equals 3, and this is the possible values of x that will satisfy this equation as far as this particular equation is given. So much, let's try the second approach and see whether we will have minus 1 or positive 3. So the second approach solution. So let's go for the second approach. We have x. So I want to take this x plus 1 across this equality sign. So I have 2, or if you like, put this in bracket, multiplying root x plus 1 will now be everything minus open bracket x plus 1. So that is that. So if you like, because it is assumed that there is a virtual 1 here. If you like, you can put 1, but it is assumed that there is 1 virtually written here. That is after the negative sign and before the parenthesis. So this is 2 multiplying root x plus 1 close bracket is equals to minus x minus 1, because if minus 1 open this bracket, it will be minus 1 times x is minus x, and minus 1 times positive 1 will be negative 1. So let's divide both sides by 2 so that this 2 will go with this 2, so that I have x plus 1. So I want to clear this root. So in order to clear this root, I need to take the square of both sides. That means I will square here, and I will also square this. That means I will square what you did to the left side, you must definitely have to do it to the right side. So this will go with this. Let me divide the both so that I have, because this square is affecting every content inside the bracket, both numerator and the denominator. So I have x plus 1 is equals to that means this bracket will have to be written in 2 places. That means I'll open the first bracket. That means going by our normal product rule, the first bracket needs to be multiplied by the second bracket, and we know the nature of the operation. X, that means I have x plus 1 is equals to x squared plus x plus x. I have 2x plus 1, everything over 4. So we all believe that this x plus 1 is over 1. So you are right if you put over 1, because any number you are seeing is over 1. Dividing any number by 1 will never alter your result. So by cross multiplying, that means you are likely to have x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equals to 4 open bracket x plus 1 close bracket. So going by that, from there we know that I have x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equals to we know that these four, the relationship between these four and everything inside the parentheses is multiplication. That means 4 will have to multiply everything inside the bracket. So I have 4x plus 4. So my people, allow me, I have x squared, this is x squared, then I have 2x. When this 4x crosses this bridge to the left side, it will turn negative. So 2x minus 4x will be minus 2x. So also this 4, when this 4 crosses the bridge to the left side, it will turn negative. So 1 minus 4 is minus 3 is equals to 0. And you can see this is a perfect quadratic equation. We may decide to solve this by formula, by completing the square, by factorization, even by graphical means if you like. So let's try, in order to save time, let's factorize. Let's see whether we can factorize. In factorization, we must have to have two brackets when it comes to quadratic equation. So since the coefficient of x squared here is 1, that means I will have x here, I will still have another x here. So I need to look for two factors that when multiplied I will get negative 3, and when add or subtract the 2, the result will be negative 2. And this result because minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2, and minus 3 multiplying positive 1, and the answer will be negative 3. So we can see, and you may decide to check this equation back by multiplying this using normal multiplication operation and see whether you have this equation back. So as I told you earlier, that when we have two numbers or two unknowns or digits multiplying each other to be equals to 0, that means one of them must be equals to 0. So it's either x minus 3 is equals to 0 or x plus 1 is equals to 0. And that means x is now equals to 3 or x is now equals to minus 1. So we can see that in whatever the case, x is now equals 3 or minus 1, and that is the value of x that will satisfy this particular radical equation. And if you like this video, for more exciting content like this and many more, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, because tomorrow I will still upload another exciting video. Bye. I remain Aliyu Kabir Musa.